Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Man, I'm having a heck of a time getting going here this evening, but it looks like I am live right now. I'm simulcasting on Rumble and Utizzle, and I do appreciate everybody who stops by to see me tonight. And as I said, I've been having a time of it. But as you can see, there's Donald Trump, one of his mug shots. But anyway, Dan Scavino posted this, and I figured I'd share it with you where we're at. So, yeah, if my stream drops off, I will start another on a different platform because I've been having trouble even uploading my stuff to this particular platform, which is extremely aggravating. But I could have been up a half an hour ago, but hopefully they'll iron the bugs out, right? So while we're waiting for folks to come into the studio, I usually play some videos so people can get themselves a cold brouhaha. How about this one? We'll play this one too. And or a glass of wine or a coffee, whatever you want. So anyway, folks, let's see what we can play for you all this evening while everybody comes into the live stream. Let's see here. Then what we'll do is we'll be like butter and get on the roll.
The murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act. The murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act. The murder of...
You want to know what it is. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm going where storm is. They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full.
Presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal enforcement of the law. Quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things. things, I would say treasonous things against our country, people that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. How is everyone? I hope you're doing well. So, the sound is going out. Let's see if it stabilizes. That's all I can do. I can't do anything else. But if I get knocked off, I will start another stream. I will not continue to fight this. Angel, how you doing? Rubber Toe, nice to see you. Sherry, how are you? Let's see. Wow, my chats are jumping around like crazy. Oh man, I gotta see who's here. Let's see. We got Angel with Rubber Toe, Sherry, Bubba, nice to see you. Miss Mindersu, Robin, Brush is here. Todd's here. Melinda's here. Deborah's here. Nice to see you, Debbie King. Pappy Two Bears. Let's see. Who else is here? Let's see. All right. Everybody's doing salutations. That's all right. Awaken Trillium's here. Nice to see you. Who'd I miss? Ronald's here. Wow, Randy's here. Marla's here. Wayne's here. Nice to see you. Rebecca's here. All right. If I missed anyone, I apologize. So I got on my thumbnail, "Hey, Trump, come and get me." Come and get me. And there's Trump in the background. Yeah, it's all right. I'm going to come get you, fat boy. So, yeah, they want to ride the tiger. Remember that? Remember that in Arizona? You want to ride the tiger? And had a little back and forth with a new person who I haven't seen yet, hadn't seen since. That was discounting the influence of cartels. When I said armed conflict, oh, you should have said with the cartels, you're scaring people, making them think there's armed conflict in America. Well, where do you think the cartels are operating at? Cameroon? They're in America. As evidenced by this Latin King's nitwit that got arrested for putting out bounties. What do you think? He's selling tomatoes by the side of the road? Of course he's in with cartels and drug dealing. How am I coming through, folks? My screen is freezing. Awaken Trillium, nice to see you. We got 5x5 from Todd. That's good. That's good. Ulster Boys. Yes, Pam Bondi kicked butt. I got a couple of clips from that. She set them straight. And they caught a guy. Breaking news. I hope you all watch JLR Investigates. As I explained to you, Sizzle, in my appeal, I exclusively recommend YouTube channels, and I do. So JLR I heard about half an hour before he went live that they'd made an arrest. And then, boop, there he is. Got a picture of the little creepo. Palisades fire, major update, suspect arrested. You know how JR does. Breaking news. So, yeah, I watched the press conference. It was like, he started to fire a week before. So right away, our antennas go up, correct? like My Favorite Martian. Dee, dee. But the explanation they give was that it was in the root system under the trees. And I believe it. I've burned out stumps before. I've roasted pigs in the ground. And you'd be surprised how long buried wood will burn underground. Or if you put coals in an ash can, when you clean out your fireplace or wood stove, which I've done thousands of times, days later, I could put my feet up on top of that ash can and warm my tootsies when I come inside. And I haven't shoveled the fireplace out for 4 or 5 days. That thing's still toasty warm. So, yeah, I believe it. I don't see any conspiracy there. But I did say that Jane Goodall never knocked an apple out of my basket. So I did a little tribute to her, passing away. But then I see a video where she's talking about reducing human population. You knocked my apples out of my basket, lady. All right. So my respect for you diminished. I might as well just say that now. But anyway, man, we got a mess of stuff to talk about. What have I been preaching all this time? You got to show people. We got a long march. We got to repeat things. We've got to break people's mindset out from the corrupt mainstream media. And that's exactly what we're doing. And it's coming to a head. Hi, Adrian. How are you? Nice to see you. Robin's here. So, anyway, I have got so much stuff in my studio and stuff left over from last time. What do we got a story about? What is this? What is this? It's a submarine. Guess what? It's a Russian submarine. What month are we in? October. Look here. What's that? A U.S. aircraft carrier. What's going on? Could this be Red October? We take clues where we can get them, right? And what did Trump say today? Trump said, "Blessed be the peacemaker." Did you hear him say that? Blessed be the peacemaker? What's that from? Godfather 3. How long ago did I call that? Godfather 3. Blessed is peacemaker, for he will be called a child of God. So we're seeing these things. What is going on with this submarine business? I will read the reports to you. So many things are scrambled up in my studio from trying to set it up. But apparently there's a alleged embarrassment with the Navy and these submarines, particularly the USS Gerald Ford. And my own supposition was some time ago that if anything happened to a big carrier, it would be Gerald Ford, because I think it's been made with cheap Chinese steel and it's got to go anyway. So I get off of there. Find another assignment. Hi, Elva, how you doing? Nice to see you. So anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the collapse of the French government once again. Stuff that's happening whether we like it or not, but the mainstream media doesn't cover it. How does it affect us, this background information? And we're going to get into whether or not or when Pritzker and his little mayor flunky friend might be picked up, incarcerated. Maybe we'll see a perp walk this time instead of James Comey just ghosting in and out of a courthouse. Never got our perp walk, right? But that doesn't mean it's not coming. The perp walks aren't coming. I want to share some good news with you before I continue on my stream. What's the good news? The good news. This man right here, his name is Charlie. What did he decide to do? Can you all guess what Charlie decided to do? He's standing next to a young YouTuber I've talked about in the past, Adam Francisco. What did Charlie do? He said that Jesus told him to save a man's life. Adam had his kidney transplant yesterday after months and months of being in very ill health and still doing Patriot YouTube videos confronting demonic Antifa and anti-ICE members with my donor Charlie before the kidney transplant surgery today. Please offer us your prayers and words of encouragement for successful surgery. Words cannot express how much I appreciate his selfless act of donating a second chance at life. Now this is a real man. And there's Charlie. Last I heard, both were doing well. So much so that Adam did a live stream last night. There he is. The advancements, even though we have this Marxist commie system, we still have the advancements that were achieved through a free system. So he was able to do a live the same day. I'm out of surgery. Prayers were answered. The kidney worked immediately. I'm in a lot of pain, but the painkillers are doing their job. We'll update more later. God bless my donor, Charlie. So make sure you check out Adam Francisco's channel, as he sometimes broadcasts with Liberty Hangout and other YouTubers. And now that he has stabilized in his health, maybe we'll see some more exciting things, and we pray that everybody involved in putting out the truth remains safe. He even said that he is going to consider converting to Christianity, as he is Jewish, but he's only going to consider it right now. So anyway, way to go, Charlie. You are a real man. And he gave all the credit to Jesus Christ. Hi, Jerry. Nice to meet you. So, yeah, there's good people on this earth, right? This isn't one of them. New, the White House calls Rosie O'Donnell's decision to apply for Irish citizenship great news for America. There she is. Oh, the luck of the Irish. The luck of the Irish. White House says it's great news for America. If you don't know what the luck of the Irish is, look it up. So, anyway. Here is where another resignation of the Prime Minister in France. Having worked less than a month, Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has resigned, reports Le Figaro. Macron has already accepted the resignation. Recall that France is experiencing a prolonged political crisis with constant changes of governments amid mass protests by people dissatisfied with the economic and social policies of its authorities. Can you say mass migration? Can you say Allahu Akbar? Allah, la la la, however you say that in French? Lecornu's predecessor, Francois Bayrou, held the position of prime minister for 9 months. In 2 years, the country has already had 5 prime ministers. At the same time, the court banned one of the poll leaders, Marine Le Pen, from participating in the elections. Didn't they go after her in court? Yes, I'm right about that. Here's the character that resigned right here. Indirect, Emmanuel Macron vient d'accepter La démission, Sebastian, whatever. So there he is. Goodbye, loser. So, whoa. My screen's freezing. Come on back, screen. Okay, here it is. Okay, good. I thought I got kicked out because of my French. But anyway, yeah, he's gone. And you know what? The Ruskies put up a strange meme. I'll get to the stuff we're going to talk about in a minute. But I always skip my foreign news because I go on tangents about what's happening in our country. But they put up something that was interesting. What is this? Le nouveau gouvernement Macron. The new government of Macron, I guess. Look at that character on the right. Nicole Macronet, Minister of Education. Is that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, folks. But this is the new government we're going to be dealing with. But look at some of them. Amelia Macronet, Minister of Sports. Is that supposed to be? I mean, are these? They're giving us a little hint here. I don't know, folks. But anyway, it's bizarre. I think they're trying to tell us it's going to be very bizarre. So they're all Macron, but they're dressed up like women, some of them. Tongue in cheek from the Ruskies. Tongue in cheek. So anyway, Pam Bondi. Anybody that got near her got their chops smacked during her testimony. Let's play some clips from Pam Bondi. She's under fire. Sometimes people can't stand her. Sometimes people like her, whatever. But she's in a tough spot as far as media goes. There's so many opportunities for them to cause strife and make her look bad. But I think she handled herself very well in front of Congress. Let's see what this clip is about.
Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Patel said there was no case. And Caroline Leavitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I know.
So
And,
was she?
Senator Schiff,
Was she
if
right?
you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying with your
We can
egregious
stipulate to. You can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
personal attacks. You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking.
But what we're interested in.
Borders are.
What we're interested in is the answer to these oversight questions.
I want your
Adam Shifty Shift, you would have been fired. I had a longer clip of that. I don't know if I have it uploaded or not. Let me see. I got some more. Let's try this one. Let's see. Come on, studio. I tell you what, it is so frustrating to deal with these little quirks. And, but at least I haven't been kicked out, right? That's the main thing. Let's go ahead and see this clip here.
Ballard, longtime backer and head of the law firm where you worked, was instrumental in lobbying the Justice Department to drop that lawsuit. It was dismissed, so it's not subject to a court review. What conversations did you have with Mr. Ballard?
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You
you.
admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
How
about
dare you? I'm a career
conversations
prosecutor.
with
Don't
Mr.
you
Ballard,
ever challenge my integrity.
had
I have
apparently-
abided by every ethics standard. Do not question my ability to be fair and impartial as Attorney General, and anything
You'll
with
answer that
my
question to
former
another of my
firm,
colleagues.
Ballard Partners.
Thank you.
Yeah, she straightened him out real quick. Blumenthal, how can he even show his face? Trump put up a post about him in his service. If I got enough time on the stream, I'll get to it. But anyway, yeah, there's somebody else she slapped around. This might be the longer clip. Where'd it go? This might be the longer clip of her with Adam Shifty Schiff. I'm not sure. I could have put a lot of clips in, but Blumenthal and Shifty Schiff are the real pukes. And also Durbin. All right, Dick Durbin. I got a clip of him too.
No case. And Caroline Levitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I know.
So
And,
was she?
Senator Schiff,
Was she
if
right?
you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured
No,
by Congress for lying with your
we can
egregious
stipulate to. You can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
personal attacks. You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking.
But what we're interested in.
Borders are.
What we're interested in is the answer to these oversight questions.
You want your
So
no,
you were
oversight.
you were asked by my colleague. You were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
Regular order, Madam Chair, so I can ask a question. You were asked by my colleague from Vermont whether you will support providing a video or audio tape, if it exists, of Mr. Holman taking $50,000 in bribe money from the FBI. Will you support a request by this committee to provide that tape or tapes to the committee? Yes or no?
Senator Schiff, you can talk to Director Patel about that.
You're the Attorney General. This will be your decision. Will you support?
You don't have to tell me what is my decision and what is not my decision. I said
and you don't have to.
Director
You don't
Patel.
have to try to.
You think
you
you've
don't
got a
have
gotcha with Tom Home and our borders are.
Excuse me. You don't,
been out there fighting for our country since Donald Trump took office.
I'm trying to ask
Mr. Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
Excuse me. Let me do this because.
Yeah, when's Bill and Hillary going to be in front of Congress? Right? When's Bill and Hillary going to be in front of Congress? I think Bill is going the 14th. Or is that Hillary? Somebody's going up the 14th. The clock is ticking. And tomorrow, let's see, 4 or 5 days? 4 or 5. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. How you doing? Let's see. Who came? Somebody came in. Just say hi. Andrew, how you doing? So, we didn't get a perp walk. Here, somebody put this up. Both were indicted on the same 2 charges. His house was raided by 20-plus SWAT agents at 6 a.m. CNN was tipped off. Judge issued a gag order to censor his speech before, during, and after the trial. Comey allowed to turn himself in. No gag order, no censorship. We didn't even get to see him walk in the courthouse. Did you, or even leave? He ghosted in and out. His family was there, though. Robin, how you doing? You know, I might put some music in the background because I hate silence when I'm listening to streams because I don't know if it's trying to be a commercial. Oh, one thing. I am a commercial-free site, right? Don't forget that, folks. Ha, ha, ha. Citizen Free Press put this up. List of all Republicans arrested under the Biden administration. Do I have to read them all out? Look, Donald Trump, Waltine Nauta, Carlos de Oliveira, Stephen Bannon, Peter Navarro. Look at them all. How many is that? Quite a few, if you want a screenshot. Somebody texted me. No, but wait, there's more. Let me see. Let me move this over here. This is all the people that have been indicted that was with the Trump administration. Let's see. Let me get another list. Here we go. What's this? Make sure I don't over. We got James Schaefer, William Prescott Floyd. Here we go. There's some more. How many is that so far? That's one page. Let me move it over. There's one page. Here's the second page, right? But wait, there's more. Right here. Can I get them all on here? Good night. How many is that? All right, I got Christina Bob on the bottom of the last one. That's a lot. I can't even get it all on the screen. That's how many. List of Democrats arrested under the Trump administration, 0. That's just for anybody that might be complaining about what Trump is doing. Trump hadn't done. He's just letting people do their jobs. How about that for once? Here's Kash Patel. How many of you seen this clip? How many gang members are estimated to be in Chicago? Like I was saying with a person who was nitpicking with me about armed conflict, I said gangs are like octopuses. They got tentacles that get everywhere. They're in America. And their tentacles, because they deal with large sums of money, go all the way up into our governments. Didn't I say that? So we got one city in one state in America that has a certain number of gang members. One city in one state.
Taking the juggernaut that is demolishing the weaponization of law enforcement and bringing it to places like Chicago. When I was there today with Todd, we learned that the Chicago city streets have 110,000 gang members. That's right, you heard me right. They had 1,200 shootings this year alone, 360 homicides. When politicians choose to side with those metrics and not their citizenry, thank God we have President Trump and this Department of Justice and this FBI going in there and crushing violent crime. And President Trump sent us into these cities quietly to set the stage, to set up for the National Guard, to see the success that we saw in Washington, D.C., in Memphis. The FBI has been leading the charge in every single one of these streets because we know how to gather ground-level intelligence, and we know how to put handcuffs on the bad guys, and we know that we have the backing of this administration. And most importantly, the agents at the FBI know that they have the backing of the American people and their government.
Yes, you heard that right. 110,000. Let's just say 10% are non-citizen military age. Non-citizen military age, 10% would be 11,000 in one city. So don't tell me that the cartels aren't involved in our government bribing officials one way or the other, and also contributing to the crime, and that the said government officials are participating in the crimes. What's it for? What's it for? It's for a Marxist incursion. They don't care who they use. Any destabilizing force that will lead to chaos and anarchy will promote their agenda. What's their agenda? To destroy the Constitution and to infiltrate our government with lawlessness. That's right, ice, ice, baby. That's why I put in my thumbnail, Iceman cometh. The Iceman is coming. I want to play this video for you. I got this from Laura Logan's feed on Truth Social. This is not a joke. What if Kamala had won the election? Tell me one thing this guy says that is not true. I don't think you can tell me one thing he's saying that is not true.
If Kamala Harris had become president, Black Lives Matter in the law of the land. She was a big friend, close personal friends of Alicia Garza, the founder of Black Lives Matter, who worked very closely with the Chinese consulate in San Francisco. So her whole network around her was Chinese. She was involved with the committee of 100 communist Chinese new voters, and you could never overturn that. She would have come after her enemies big time. She would have basically made very close friends with communist China, allowed increased Chinese immigration into the country, and she would have downgraded the security services so they couldn't do anything about it. So she would have ended the energy industry as we know it and implemented a Green New Deal, which would have completely crashed the economy and, most importantly, destroyed the US military budget. Now, who do you think would have benefited by the destruction of the US military budget? Her Chinese friends
Obviously.
would have benefited. So, Kamala Harris would have destroyed this country. All she had to do was one thing: legalize every single illegal immigrant in the country and turn them into Democrats. And you would have had 30, 40 million new Democrats. How would we have ever changed?
Exactly right. I'm buffering or the video is buffering. Elvis says 5x5. Miss Ministers are better now. I try to pick videos that have subtitles when that kind of stuff happens. But what he described, we'd have never come out of it. The destruction of our country was what he was describing. I've got to go. I've taken some clips from Clandestine and I have not read them sometimes. But I concur with what he says. So I'm going to make sure I go over them this time. This entire thing is crazy. I'm tired of people pretending otherwise. The Dems are now engaged in open insurrection against the federal government, all to protect murderers, apists, violent criminals, gang members, domestic terrorists, illegal aliens, etc. The Dems sided with criminals over their own law-abiding citizens. Future generations will look back on this era in complete disbelief. They won't be able to fathom how we allowed the Democrats to exist, let alone be allowed to govern over our cities. This is not politics anymore. The Dems are engaged in an open rebellion against Trump. Well, let me find where I was at. And they don't care how many innocents lose their lives in their crime-ridden cities during the process. The Dems have not only waged war on Trump, they are waging it on the American people. Not only are innocents being slaughtered by the criminals they refuse to put in jail, but the Dems are actively obstructing the will of the people and the results of the 2024 election, and the 2020 election and 2016 election. This is what the people voted for, but Dems don't care. Our vote is irrelevant to them. They only care about retaining their corrupt power. This is, by definition, the opening stages of a civil war. I don't think it's a civil war. I think it's a rebellion. There's a difference. There is a difference. Imagine you're Trump in January 2017. You just miraculously won the presidential election. Hold on a second, folks. Damn near every soul in D.C. is trying to take you down by whatever means necessary. And the media has brainwashed the planet to think you're a Russian asset Hitler. What do? How do you expose this unfathomable corruption? How do you undo decades of disinformation and propaganda? How do you unbrainwash millions of people? How do you tell the public that those who have been conditioned, that they have been conditioned to trust, are the most evil beings to ever walk this earth? How do you tell the public that everything they've ever been told is a lie? It's not easy, as just arresting people guilty of criminality in order for there to be justice and to ensure this never happens again. The public must know the depth of the criminality. I concur. I've always concurred. They must witness the evil with their own eyes. And even then, they'll still have a hard time believing it. The point I'm getting at is that arresting people is the easy part, but getting the public to accept that we have been compromised by evil, that's the tricky part. The situation is extremely delicate, and acting irrationally or too quickly could have catastrophic consequences. As I said, it would cause a rift in this country, a divide that would never heal if we did it at the wrong time. Patience. When the time comes for Trump to strike, it will be clean and swift, and the public will understand why it must be done. Oh, did I get a screenshot of Sun Tzu? The quote from Sun Tzu is something like, you keep your moves quiet and in the dark. And when you strike like lightning. And I believe that's what the course that we're on. As I called it, a long march. Trump posted this. Make Chicago safe again. The National Guard has been activated in Chicago 18 times from 1877 till 2021. Here's the breakdown. So there were 18 events the governor activated the Guard within Chicago. Only 2 of them, both during the 19th century, involved a sitting U.S. president. So Chicago has been a problem in the past. Here's something else Trump posted. He posted a screenshot. Wait, yeah, I got a better copy of this. He posted a screenshot of this. Let's see what it says. It's from an attorney general. This one's a little clearer. Trump put this up. No comment after he made the post I just read. U.S. Code. Those provisions authorities authorize the president when faced with such unlawful instructions against the authority of the United States as existed in Alabama to call into federal service such of the militia of any state and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary, and to use the militia or the armed forces or both or other such means. That little blob there's blocked the word. These are old mimeographs copies. How many of you all remember mimeographs? That's going back there now. The militia of the United States includes the National Guard, meaning the Army National Guard, and the Air National Guard of the several states. In furtherance of the President's order, the Secretary of Defense immediately called into active military service all the units and members of the Army National Guard and active military service of the United States for indefinite period and until relieved by appropriate orders. This call was transmitted by the Secretary of the Army. They're talking about George Wallace in Alabama, I believe. And they say there's not enough going on in Portland to justify this. Everything's fine in Portland. But just remember, they called out the National Guard against George Wallace for standing in a doorway. Soldiers approached with fixed bayonets, and the commander told him to move out of the doorway. Compare that to what's going on in Portland today when they say it's not enough resistance of federal authority. This call was transmitted by the Secretary of the Army, acting by the direction of and under designation of the authority from the Secretary of Defense. Copies of the Department of the Army message, and they have the dates, June 11th, 1963, were furnished immediately to the governor of Alabama and to commanding officers of the Army National Guard and of the Air National Guard of the state of Alabama. It is apparent that the Alabama National Guard was properly called into federal service pursuant to 10 U.S.C. Code 332-4, and in accordance with the procedure provided in those actions. Since the call to federal service did not invoke the authority of 10 U.S.C. 3500, as referred to by Mr. Bowen, this procedure prescribed by that section was not used. I trust the foregoing information will be of assistance to you. I don't know who was the Attorney General at the time of this writing. Does that say Kennedy? Robert? Is that what that looks like to you all, folks? RFK Jr.'s dad, who, by the way, was assassinated. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. A little dose of history. So the writing's on the wall. They're either going to assist and comply or they're going to be arrested. Intifada globalized in New York City on 10/7 anniversary. Did you hear Trump say today that he was going to designate Antifa a global terrorist organization? Here's what was going on in New York City. People who are aligning with From the River to the Sea, Intifada Marxists, okay, because they are Marxists, marching in the street, taking over the streets. These Marxists, they got it. What they have in common is Palestinian flags, from the river to the sea, pro-transgenderism. So much so, during that protest, here's the individual, let me find it, that was being interviewed by a member of the, I guess the British media, maybe Australian. Get a load of this. This was yesterday. They don't care where they get their soldiers from. They're useful idiots. They're street people. They don't care. And they fill their head full of delusions. Listen to this delusional person.
So, hello, you've got your sign again. I found you again. Just show the camera, please. Show our viewers back in Britain. What does it say?
It says that Muhammad was a proud trans woman. I didn't get to put proud trans lesbian, but trans lesbian.
What are you talking about? What do you mean Muhammad was trans?
Prophet Muhammad was the first trans woman. She was a beautiful trans lesbian.
According to what?
According to the Quran.
Okay, and you're with the pro-Palestine lot, are you?
Yes, I am very pro-Palestine. I will not stop fighting until 50% of Gaza's government is trans women.
What do you think would happen to you if you went into Gaza holding that sign?
I don't know, but we need to keep fighting.
I can tell you.
We need trans women to be ruling Gaza.
You'd be thrown off a building, probably.
We need trans women to be in charge of Gaza.
All right, okay, thank you for that. I mean, bizarre explanation. And just, I mean, he's from the pro-Palestine lot, so it just goes to show the level of, I don't know, intellect and competence. As I said to that guy, if he went into Gaza holding that sign, he'd be probably thrown off a building.
Most of them are dysphoric lunatics, okay? He wants Palestine to be controlled by 50% trans individuals when they will lop your head off. But he's in a dream world. They're all in a damn dream world. He said Muhammad was a trans individual. What do you think will happen to him if he shows up talking that kind of smack? But they fall for it, and they will. Well, I got to play something else for you to show you all how far back this goes. Let me show you this to cogitate on before I show you the next video. What do you think is behind this? The BBC News. What do you see? Somebody driving by on a motorcycle snatching somebody's phone in the streets. Police bust gang suspected of sending up to 40,000 stolen UK phones to China. The Metropolitan Police said they have dismantled an international gang suspected of smuggling up to 40,000 stolen mobile phones from the UK to China in the past year. How many do you think they got in America? Why does China need 40,000 phones from a Western country? They can crank those phones out in their sweatshops by the tens of thousands. Why do they need our phones? But I have said a long time ago that this country needs to apologize to Senator Joe McCarthy. How many of you remember me saying that years ago? Senator Joe McCarthy was warning about communist infiltration into our nation. And the media, along with members of the intelligence community, IC, and crooked politicians, led a drumbeat of slander and misrepresentations and drove him out of office. And history books have portrayed him like some sort of fanatic. Let me find the correct video. I believe this is it right here. Another one from Laura Logan. Oh no, this isn't the right one. Hold on a second, folks. It's similar to that. It's with stacked discussing how high-ranking members of the military were avowed Marxists. That's Senator Joe McCarthy. I thought I was the only one talking about this. The real story of McCarthyism.
Hollywood has whitewashed the McCarthy era. Now, sort of what's handed down is generally accepted that this was a dark time in American history. It was sort of fascism and tyranny gone wild, and McCarthy made it all up, right? And they went after and violated the rights of ordinary American citizens on this witch hunt against the communist ghost that didn't exist. But then one day I sat and watched a documentary series that had the original footage of people testifying before Congress in the McCarthy era trials. And one after another, very senior members, high-level figures in the Pentagon and the Department of Defense and beyond were sitting there saying, I am an avowed Marxist. I will be a Marxist till the day I die, and I'm willing to die for this. And I just wonder, can you speak to that deception that has been carried out?
It didn't even start with McCarthy. It started with the House Un-American Activities Committee, which was set up as a bipartisan thing by Democrats and Republicans to go after the Klan, the Nazis before World War II, and the communists. Well, by the 50s, it was pretty much focusing on the communists, because the Nazis were gone, the Klan had been much diminished. McCarthy was only a small part of that. I have read many of those hearings. They were conducted very professionally. Everybody had counsel. Nobody I ever saw was falsely accused. Nobody. And states had their own hearings. Louisiana had hearings, California had hearings, many other states did it as well, because it was a very real problem of Soviet and communist infiltration. We now know from the Venona transcripts, these were secret codes, that we broke the Soviet codes and could monitor the Soviet traffic going back and forward into in the 1940s. There was at least 400 senior Soviet agents operating in Washington. They set up the World Bank. They set up the United Nations. All these globalist organizations that are plaguing us today were set up by Soviet agents within the Roosevelt administration, and we're still dealing with them. We never cleaned out the State Department. The State Department is still rotten with Marxists and subversives even to this day.
How many times did Trump say that Joe Biden was surrounded by Marxists in his administration. What do you think J.B. Pritzker is? I told you all about reading a autobiography of Adolf, okay? In it, there's a letter that describes the relationship with Germany and the Soviet Union prior to the outbreak of the war. And it was the opinion that there was virtually no difference between communism and the National Socialist Party, NAZIs. And he neglected to mention, he recapped it pretty good, but he neglected to mention that they're also responsible for the Federal Reserve and the central banks shoving as much opportunity for Marxism into our system as quickly as they could, such as the 16th Amendment, taxing individuals and making them report every rotten red cent to some bureaucrat under the threat of going to jail if you don't. That is a Marxist philosophy put in action. So Operation Paperclip brought over the NAZIs, which is the same suit, different bow tie as a communist. It's all the genesis of Marx and Engels. Okay? So, what do you think this guy's philosophy is? I think he's sorely misguided. I don't think he's an evil person. I think he's a low IQ person. But Marxism is in direct conflict with the Constitution. Those Pentagon officials, military officials who said they were avowed Marxists could not swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States because Marxism requires a tyrannical government that takes away the voice of the people. Here he is. What mirroring. They always say what they want to do, but they say we're trying to do it to them. This is mirroring.
We are being tested right now as to whether or not 241 years of self-rule will emerge. We are on the track to destroying what we've had for 243 years.
Democracy depends on it, and whether or not we sustain the 244 years of self-rule. 246 years we're coming up on, the longest democracy in the world, and it's hanging by a thread.
Do we want fascism, or do we want to continue the 248 years of self-rule? We've been around for 249 years. We've had that many years of self-rule, and the election that you're seeing coming up in 2024 is going to be a referendum on whether or not we want to maintain and hold on to our democracy, or do we want to give it over to autocracy, fascism? We have, I would say, a year to be able to correct this and see whether or not our 250-year experiment continues to survive, and we'll find out.
If he'd have had his way, we'd be slaves to a bureaucracy. That's the only result of a socialist or Marxist state, is the majority of the people become slaves to a bureaucratic entity. It's just that damn simple. Let's see what's going on here. Diamond Silk. Did you all see this? How come this is the only place I've heard about it? Democrat representative humiliated after just one person shows up to hear speech at major event. And this is in Michigan. Representative Haley Stevens was left red-faced over the weekend after photos went viral. I didn't see him. Maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. I don't know. Showing her addressing a nearly empty field and was billed as a major campaign event in West Michigan. The party is croaking before our eyes. The only artifice that's left is from the mainstream media putting up an artifice that this Democrat Party is still being taken seriously by the majority of Americans. They are not. Just in federal investigating Democrats after 250 blank ballots are found in an Amazon package. State and federal authorities in Maine are investigating a jaw-dropping case of 250 blank ballots that were delivered to a voter in an Amazon box. The inexplicable oversight is casting whatever, Well, I can explain it, part of it. They used to FedEx stuff around. And by that, I'm talking about stuff from Planned Parenthood, if you get my drift. They didn't worry about postal inspectors. Well, now Amazon has worked out a deal with the Postal Service. Remember, I was talking about how you get so much junk mail and so much propaganda and garbage. Plus, they track you. The post office is turned into nothing but another spy agency for the federal government. But anyway, Amazon drops off some of their packages for local delivery to the post office. They've got some kind of handshake agreement between the semi-government, semi-private entity known as the post office and a supposedly totally private entity known as Amazon. Why do you think they offer free shipping to their Prime members? Amazon gets the Prime membership money. The U.S. Post Office delivers their packages dirt cheap. And then every year we have to bail out the U.S. Post Office to the tune of $10 billion, $5 billion, $20 billion. In other words, we're paying for that free shipping. But we're also paying for this ballot business that's going on. See how it works? And then Jeff Bezos can have a multi-million-dollar wedding and rent out a foreign city for his wedding because he's got so much money. But everybody gets their Whopper Choppers sent free if they got Amazon Prime. We're all paying for it. That's fascism. Private entities involved with the federal government and everybody paying for it. And the big club group gets rich and we pay them the money. Oh, by the way, folks, did you know the price of gold on the New York Commodity Exchange hit a historic high, surpassing $4,000 per troy ounce for the first time in history. So since we last talked about it, it went up $200 plus dollars an ounce. Here we go. Legal AF. You know, when Trump was having the meeting today, the witnesses, the victims of the Portland mayhem, met with Trump at the White House. He asked a couple of questions. Who else was involved in this misinformation besides the regular media that we all know about? CNN, MSDNC. I would have said a lot of attorneys have joined together to create an illusion and to push falsehoods and misrepresent reality and actual operations of law. Here we have legal AF, mail-in ballots under attack. We shouldn't even have mail-in ballots. They should be illegal. It's ripe for fraud. There's no way to secure it. Live major oral argument on voting rights. Like you're going to lose a right if you can't waddle your lazy ass to a mailbox and then waddle back in the house and say you voted. No, you got to go to where you're supposed to vote. Let me tell you, for a lot of these people, it was an appointment to keep their food stamps and their housing and their welfare check. They would be there, physically be there. So if they can do that, they can go vote. But this is a channel that is operated mainly by attorneys. Why would they push for something that's patently ripe for abuse and cheating? Here, we got another idiot. Another day of Democrat violence. Democrat congressional candidate Richard Ojeda on Stephen Miller. I'd be willing to go to jail for kicking the you-know-what out of him. Here he is. I guess he's on a campaign RV. Or is he living in an RV? Who knows? Nothing wrong with living in an RV, but I think he's in a campaign bus.
I think Stephen Miller needs to be thumped. That guy's a friggin' worm. I would be willing to go to jail for, how much would I get for just tracking him a couple times? I'd be willing to go to jail to kick the shit out of him. I'd be more than happy to find myself in an elevator with him, and I'd whoop his ass from the first floor to the fifth floor. And be happy to go to jail.
So they wanted to destroy our republic, undermine the Constitution, constantly endorse violence or express their desire to commit violence, and raise people up who actually commit violence. I got this clip here from Trump in the Oval Office. Let me see if this is the right one. He describes what our country needs in order to be successful.
As promised, breaking moments ago, more than...
Sorry, that's not the clip. Let me see what this is, and then I'll find the clip of Trump.
More than $200 billion coming into the coffers in tariffs, and now we're learning where some of that money will go. The White House has just announced that the Women and Children Food Program will not be cut off while the government is shut down.
Yeah, I got that clip because I said that Trump was going to... I wouldn't be surprised if Trump uses the tariffs to offset some of the, I was thinking military pay, and he still may do it. But here's where they're saying that he's going to supplement WIC payments, for children, impoverished families. But anyway, here's the clip I was talking about with Trump.
And I felt for a long time that, if a country doesn't have religion, doesn't have faith, doesn't have God, it's going to be very hard to be a good country. There's no reason to be good. I want to be good because you want to prove to God that you're good, so you go to that next step, right? So that's very important to me. I think it's really very important.
Yeah, like John Adams said, our Constitution was designed for a nation of people who have fear of the Lord. Otherwise, it's unworkable. Unworkable. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Oh, Stuttering John, I never watched his show. Yeah, I figure he's going to do something with that tariff money. Hi, Graybeard, how you doing? Let me see, did I play these? I have other Pam Bondi clips. Let me see. I have these clips of Trump with Carney. Isn't it funny how all of a sudden we go to all that harsh talk back and forth, and then the Canadians, the lefty Canadians, not our good friends who are conservative Canadians, but the lefties say, elbows up and Trump is no good. But next thing you know, they're getting along just famously at the White House. The beautiful Oval Office, I might add.
Everybody adheres to the deal, okay?
Are you concerned about the delays at airports, and how do you see the shutdown making?
Oh, sure. I mean, they're all Democrat delays. There are delays at the airport. That's standard. And again, this is something that every day we put forth a bill. It's just a continuation. It's a very simple thing to sign and very simple to do. And I really think that these are people that I think they have nothing to lose. They have a party that's out of control. They have no leader. Nobody knows who the leader is. I look at people with very low IQs like Crockett, this woman Crockett. I never met her, but she's a low IQ individual. I look at AOC talking about how if they want to negotiate, they can come to my office. She's not in that position to do that. And who the hell is she to say that? And then I watch Nancy Pelosi not knowing what to do. I watch their leadership. Look, Schumer is petrified of primary because he's not going to win probably against anybody in a primary. You know, Schumer did the right thing, but he handled it badly originally a year ago. He did probably the right thing, but he handled it badly. I think Schumer is incapable of making a deal. They are a mess. They're a party that has no leadership. They have, and they have no policy. You know, I think we have great leadership, but we also have great policy. We have strong borders. We have no men and women's sports. I mean, basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change the sex of your child. We're not going to do things like that. What they're doing to the country is so incredible. And they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped. And we have a country that's based on common sense and strength and intelligence. I mean, we have the United States of America, and I say it all the time. Other leaders have told me this. Mark hasn't yet, but I think he would. A year ago, we were a dead country, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. Maybe Canada. I'll give Canada, but because I do like Canada. But you know, we're the hottest country in the world right now. There's never been a country that has the kind of money coming into. There's never been anything like this. There has never been a country that if you take $1 trillion, that would be unbelievable. We're going to have over $20 trillion invested in this country. There's never been anything like what you're seeing.
See the brilliance of this, the brilliance of it. He's got Carney sitting there listening. He even gave him a friendly pat on the knee. But while he knows Canadian news services have got to cover this because Carney's there, Trump puts in all the victories, all mocks and derides the woke bunch and the policies, and talks about how things are getting so much better in our country because we're getting away from open borders and essentially Marxist and degenerate woke policies. And the people of Canada are going to be hearing that Whereas if Trump was sitting in his office just talking to U.S. press, it would never get around to other countries. So he uses these events to let the world know what's going on in our country. And it's great. So here's a short clip of him. A lot of people have said Trump being Trump is really good to watch. Trump being Trump. And he speaks highly of Carney here too also.
I think Canada, let me put it this way, I can tell you this because I deal with lots of leaders all over the world. He is a world-class leader. He's a man that knows what he wants. And I'm not surprised to see that he won the election and won it substantially. And I would think he's more popular now. He's a good man. He does a great job, and he's a tough negotiator. So
then what's holding things up? If he's a great man and you want to do a deal with Canada, why aren't you?
Because I want to be a great man, too. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. That could have been good. I think you got that one. That could have been good. Thank you very much.
What did Seinfeld say? Seinfeld said, always leave on a high note. He got everybody laughing. He was humanized. It showed a repairing of the rift between Canada and the U.S. And thank you very much, folks. Thank you very much for showing up. That's the end of that. Everybody leaving on a good mood. Everybody laughing. So he's masterful. And people like this I'm going to show you this idiot here. They're being shown more and more for what they are, irrational morons. Now, what he says during his little tirade here is a direct result of people like Newscomb and Pritzker repeating over and over this drumbeat. Strange masked men with guns coming into neighbor. Listen, any idiot that doesn't know by now that those are ICE agents, those are federal agents, you better do what they say. These governors, they should be warning their people to follow orders, okay? Instead of giving this fig leaf to claim that they're under threat by mysterious masked men and that would give them the right to be violent. But they're trying to drum up violence. That's why they may very well find themselves removed from office and charged with sedition.
Yo, so somebody asked me the other day what the fuck I'm going to do when people with masks and guns start showing up in my neighborhood. And the answer is I'm going to fucking harm them. I'm not just going to stand there and fucking watch. Dude, I don't understand why you people are doing shit right now. Why you people are acting like those neighborhoods that those people with the masks and guns that are snatching motherfuckers up in. Why are you acting like those aren't your fucking neighborhoods? This is your fucking country.
He likes to do a lot of screen hitting that makes him feel like he's tougher than he is. This dude, I don't even know how his account is still up. I keep watching to see if it gets bananaed. We can't say that word. I keep watching. And somehow his account is still up, even though he keeps spewing nonsense like that. There was a video that he did have that either was removed or he privated it because he was taking too much heat from it, where he proudly announced that he's hoping that since somebody has already been taken out, that the next one will be Donald J. Trump. And he was very explicit in how he wanted it done and how he described that it should be done. The mental health runs rampant with that community, that side, left-leaning. We really need mental asylums back in the United States, because when I tell you it is running rampant, and it is so dangerous for someone to come on and spew that kind of rhetoric. I want you to think of how many people are so easily influenced and will actually carry out the actions that he is saying that he would, even though that we know that he's probably just a lot of talk on the internet. But that's so dangerous. It's so damn dangerous.
They're inherently violent. These people that, like you saw on the screen, those officials that were being talked about earlier in the Pentagon back in the 50s and 60s, generals who were saying, oh, I'm a Marxist and I will die being a Marxist. They need to be removed because they're the type of people in positions of power that would use the power of the state to harm a president and remove unlawfully a president, like they've tried to do with Donald Trump, like they did with JFK, like they tried to do with Reagan, as far back as Abraham Lincoln. Anyone who is an avowed Marxist should be forced to resign from the federal government, have no position of authority. Here's what Pam Bondi said about these Antifa, what they're going to do to Antifa. And I am of a mind, she's talking within the borders of the U.S., but Trump is going to do the same thing across the globe with the help of other nations.
We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization from top to bottom. We're going to take them apart. Thanks to your bold leadership and the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, which is exactly what they are, Americans will no longer their unhinged violence.
Yeah, you're out of here. I haven't talked to anybody that has told me that, and there are people that will tell you to your face, they believe in socialism or Marxism, same thing. Every one of them's got a violent affect to them, a violent affect. Ha ha ha. I got the video where Hakeem was arguing with this other member of the House, but I would want to play. It was 4 minutes long, but this is a short video that puts it all in a nice little package.
Why don't we sign on right now? Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend the ACA
Did your
right
boss,
now.
Donald Trump,
He's
give
not
you
my
permission?
boss.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
So let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to shut the government down? Why did you vote to shut it down?
Let me ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
Yeah, that's what I like. Here's where Trump said, I believe this is where he's like, oh, you guys all want to do it? Yeah, you want to designate Antifa a terrorist group? What do you think? Should I? Yeah, I think I'll do it. Yeah.
Their ratings are terrible.
They are terrible.
MSNBC is dying and CNN is.
No, this is the clip of him talking about the media. Let me start that one over again. Hold on. This is a good one. This is where he's talking about the media. And this wasn't all of it. I mean, he told Caitlin, what's-her-face, Clark, is that her name? How pitiful she was. And even she, last night, I believe it was giving some praise to Trump about his energy, how he never sleeps, how he's so accessible. But apparently that wasn't good enough praise because Trump still busted her good. But anyway, here's what he's part of what he was telling the media.
Their ratings are terrible.
They are terrible.
MSNBC is dying, and CNN is dying like a dog.
And
poor CNN, they're so pathetic.
It is very pathetic.
You ever see their anchors in the evening? That nobody ever heard of them. Where do these people come? I could take anybody off the street in Washington, D.C. They'd do a better job.
Yeah, and it's not hard to show what's going on these days. You literally have an iPhone and you can post it on X.
They don't believe in the star system, It's just one of those things.
Was that another dog com? Another dog com? They're dying like a dog. And not making fun, but pointing out the new people that they're putting up are just useless. Where's Stephen Miller? He had a little bit of a showdown with one of them. I got a highlight of that. Sometimes it's better just show the highlight. Where is that? Here he is. Here's one of their new star anchors. With Stephen Miller. Try and put Stephen Miller in the trick box. Come on now, what's wrong with my studio? It won't expand. There we go. Hang on. Watch what Stephen, how he handles this guy.
Is it the case that, as Pritzker frames it, you are profiling brown people? That this immigration crackdown is designed to go after people of color?
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question. The illegal aliens who are here are taking jobs away from blacks, they're taking jobs away from whites, they're taking jobs away from Latinos, they're taking their health benefits away, they're taking their school slots away, and of course in many cases they're committing heinous crimes. We cannot have a system of law in this country that privileges illegal aliens over American citizens, and that's what they're doing. You know it, and I know it.
So that's not exactly a no, Stephen. Can you just unequivocally state that the immigration
I said
policy...
it's a dumb question. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that, but
it's a dumb question.
So no, this policy is not designed
I thought when I said it was a dumb question, it meant no.
Well, I just want to be clear and precise. I appreciate you trying to qualify my questions, but nevertheless, I think it's a fair one that a lot of people have. So
no, that is a...
Yeah, that's another angle. They try to hit on. It was a stupid question, you moron. And that's the two things. One of the many things they try to push. Oh, it's just against people of color, brown people. It's racist against brown people. And it's also mysterious masked armed men terrorizing people. Well, that's because when criminals are getting arrested, they get scared, right? Just like the criminals that are going to be arrested, that we're leading up to, Trump is getting people ready. He's getting people ready for arrests. Like this, what he put out that made Pritzker say, come and get me. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. Well, you could add to that those journalists that got beat up. Those people that live in the apartment building down the street from the ICE facility who can't live a normal life and who've been threatened and beaten. They should be in jail for what they've allowed to happen to them. What's this one? This might be about, let me see, what's this about? Jack Smith tracked GOP senators. So Comey got a rain today, and stories are coming out about Jack Smith, and one's going to lead to another to another.
This is the weaponization of the United States government against. Our job is to protect this country against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And last I checked, a Republican senator does not fit that mold. And so keep in mind, but not for President Trump getting reelected, we would have never known any of this. And that's how consequential this last election was. Not just President Trump, but against their political opponents. This is problematic. This is not what this constitutional republic stands for. And I am so glad that we're actually having these conversations. And we need to see handcuffs. Heads need to roll for this. People need to be punished for this because, again, this is unconstitutional. They've gone too far.
Yeah. What did he say? Enemies, foreign and domestic. And he said people need to be punished for this. Hi, W.H. Dove. Nice to meet you. I discussed the arson suspect an hour and a half ago. And I talked about how I cooked a hog underground and how I burned stumps out and stuff like that. So you'll have to watch the beginning of the broadcast. But we're aware of that person being arrested. Yes. And so what is the BS stories that they try to push? Let me see. There you had Wesley Hunt talking about what they've done. Oh, I had a good video of Eric Trump. Yeah. So right away they start, when you have people like Wesley Hunt talking about getting foreign and domestic enemies and people need to go to jail over what's been happening, the first thing they try to say is, well, aren't you doing bad going after your political enemies just like they did bad things to you? Don't you think that you shouldn't do that because two wrongs don't make a right? That's what this stupid narrative is that you're trying to push. Listen to Eric Trump.
Do you think that it is fair to say it looks like the administration is going after its political opponents now and doing exactly what you say you oppose?
What, Comey? Because I mean, it seemed very clear to me in the congressional testimony. I don't know, just watching it, I certainly seemed like he lied to me. I mean, I'm also wondering what an FBI director is doing, taking memos from the FBI and leaking them to the New York Times. I mean, Chris, I'm a guy that hopes that the FBI director would be keeping planes from flying into buildings, keeping our country safe, keeping the Western way of life safe. Instead, this guy is, communicating every single day with the New York Times. I mean, I'd hope a lot better, but I find it so ironic that you're literally one that's pushing back on the weaponization of government when the very same people that were coming after us, went after your brother, like hounds. I mean, they did everything they could to destroy his governorship. They did everything they could to destroy his life. They did everything they could to destroy you. I sat in that same seat. The only difference is my last name wasn't Cuomo. My last name was Trump. They were trying to destroy my father. And by doing that, they were trying to destroy me, and they were trying to destroy the Trump organization. They were trying to take all our assets and strip our name off of every building in New York City. You've been on the receiving end of the very same people that I've been on the receiving end of. And so to play coy with me as if this isn't happening in the United States of America just seems ironic and foolish given what you've been through more so than anything.
What did you just say that you think I'm doing? I'm asking you questions about whether or not, if something is wrong, it is also wrong to do the same thing when you get back in power, which certainly happened the first time the administration came in. You went right after Biden, and I don't mean you weren't part of the administration. I'll get to you in a second in terms of what's going on right now. But if you think I'm playing coy, you don't know me as well as you should.
Chris,
I'm not playing coy. I know what happened to me,
Chris,
Eric. I'm saying
Chris,
that
and it was
what is happening now looks like what was done to you. That's why I'm asking the question.
Did we raid Biden's home? Did we try and bankrupt Biden? Did they come after us? Did we weaponize every AG and DA, against Biden? Do we do that against Hunter Biden, who had a laptop from hell, pictures of cocaine, illicit drug use, prostitution? Did we do that?
Yeah, Chris. I don't know why the rest of the video won't play, but yeah, Chris, did we do any of that? Of course not, you nitwit. They're all tied together like worms in a clump of dirt. How many times have I said it? Here, I think this was put up by Citizen Free Press. What do we have here? United States Code, Armed Forces, subject general military law, organization and general military powers, insurrection, okay? The president, by using the militia or the armed forces or both, or by any other means, shall take such measures as he considers necessary to suppress in a state any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy, if it so hinders the execution of the laws of that state and of the United States within the state, opposes or obstructs the execution of the laws of the United States or impedes the course of justice under those laws. Yeah, there you go, folks. If you want to get a little snappy shot of that and expand it for your enjoyment. Thank you for joining us, Dove. Appreciate you being here. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. We try to be on top of everything. There's so much, it's hard to stay on top, right? Hi, Balance. Nice to meet you. Yeah, Qatar is going to go through a realignment, much like Saudi Arabia went through in 2017 and 2018, when one prince who was in control ended up hanging by his heels, literally hanging by his heels, and another prince taking control, who has a very good relationship with Donald J. Trump and is working toward peace with Israel. The same kind of realignment is going to happen in Qatar, if it hadn't happened already. So let me see if I played this one yet. What is this one? What the heck is this one? You know, I have to cut my mic off when I play these so you all can hear them better. But some of these, I just laugh through them. You're going to laugh along with me. Here is an arrogant moron, a low IQ nitwit, who blew an interview and probably her chance for becoming governor in California. But watch how testy and arrogant these people are.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
the question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
Correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation, which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up question.
Look at the look on this guy's face. Look at the look on his face. That's the way all the people, 90% of the people watching the television are looking at the screen just like this guy is. Like, what in the world did I just see? Do you want somebody like that in control of your life? Do you want somebody like that calling the shots as to what you can and can't do in life, running your state? Somebody with that temperament? I think that he's got that look on his face because he's thinking she might win. It's got to scare the hell out of anybody, right? So, here on a good note, here's a good note. Check out the crowd for Turning Point event last night at Montana State. I got the video of it. It's just a short little clip. They have no idea what they've awakened. Look at them all. And how many more big routes? This is going to be all over the country. Actually, it's going to be around the world. Just the beginning. Holy cow, I had my mic off. I didn't even know it. I was saying, buy me a coffee. Link is in the description on Rumble. And I thanked everybody, and my mic was off. Thank you, Mike and Bev, for stopping by. Buy me a coffee, being the first ones in the new week for Buy Me a Coffee. So anyway, folks, let me play Senator Kennedy for you.
The country was just rocking along, minding its own business, and our budget expired midnight Tuesday night. So the Republicans and said, look, let's just extend the then current budget for 7 more weeks while we negotiate a new one. And to our surprise, the Democrats said, no, we will not vote to do that. In fact, we'll shut down government unless you agree to give us $1.5 trillion, and we'll tell you how to spend it. Well, I mean, you know, our heads snapped back. Look, I wasn't about to vote for that. My mother didn't raise a fool. And if she did, it was one of my brothers. And every Republican felt the same way. So we said no, and that's why.
One of his brothers. But anyway, I thanked everybody who helped last week, along with Mike and Bev, was Hillary, Norm, Angela, Miss Minder Sue, and Shannon and Wayne. So I had my mic off and didn't even know it. Anyway, here's John Kennedy again talking about, he does a little bit of a sideways joke at the beginning, as he is often wont to do.
Senator Schumer is, he's nervous as a pregnant nun about losing his reelection to the socialist wing of his party, led by Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, which is in control. Now, we will eventually come out of this shutdown. Here's how I think it will happen. Chuck, Senator Schumer, is a smart man. He's been around a long time. His first car was a Chariot. Washington is all he's ever known his entire life. He knows he's on shaky ground here in terms of policy. So here's how I think it'll end. Schumer will go to 6 or 8 of his colleagues and say, Democrats, of course, and say, I want you to vote to lift the shutdown. Now, he'll say, I can't vote with you. I've got to appear to be tough. I may even have to criticize you, but wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm trying to make the loon wing of the party love me, but you bail me out here. But he's got to be careful with that, because he doesn't want it to look like a mutiny, because then he looks even...
Yeah, he's playing a tricky game. A tricky game, but he's going to lose it. He's going to lose the game. Anyway, folks, I have no idea how long my mic was off. Sorry about that. Dadgummit. Dagnabbit. Let me see. How long was my mic off? Miss Spendersue was handing out the booms. There you go. So anyway, yeah, gosh, 2 hours has gone by already. I didn't even get to the submarines, but something we can talk about in the future, because there's a submarine game going on, right? Underwater games. So I saw people mentioning Chuck Grassley at the beginning. Arctic frost. Isn't that something? Everybody's complaining about ice, and now, Speaking of ice, how about Arctic frost from 2022 and 23, when they were trying to arrest as many people as possible, and they were even spying on members of Congress. Joe did not have complete grasp of what was going on. They knew he didn't have complete grasp. You saw the list of all the Republicans they actually arrested. Grassley's talking about dozens of members of Congress, Marxists trying to uproot our political system. That was a dangerous time in our republic, was when they were doing Arctic frost. And we caught them all. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip on the way out, folks. And I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. We'll get together again tomorrow night, and I'll try not to make any more mistakes on my microphone. So again, I hope you all have a great evening, and I will be seeing you soon. Enjoy this clip. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Solicitation of these telephone records, which I think emphasizes the political weaponization that was behind all this effort. And we're still getting more information, but we've released some records today, and I'll let Senator Johnson take over from here, and then each one of you colleagues can join in when you want to, whatever you want to say.
First of all, I want to thank Senator Grassley. It is because of his relentless advocacy for whistleblowers that a lot of this information is surfacing right now. We wouldn't know about the list of 100 Republican entities that were targeted by Jack Smith's Arctic frost investigation. I don't think we know about this as well. So we need whistleblowers. I think Dan Bongino and folks in the FBI, they don't know where all the records are hidden. They still don't. They're not necessarily getting 100% cooperation. But this is outrageous, what has happened. I just want to give you a timeline of this. I think you've already got the FBI sheet that shows the number of members of Congress that were targeted. Representative Kelly, Senators Graham, Hagerty, Hawley, Sullivan, Tuberville, myself, Senator Lummis, and Blackburn. Now, this memo was dated September of 2023. To put it all into context, the Mar-a-Lago raid occurred in August of 2022. Jack Smith announced the indictments against President Trump in August of 2023. So this 2 months later, expedition against members of the Senate and the House. Again, I've been investigating this with Senator Grassley. This doesn't surprise me, but it should shock every American of what the Biden administration has done. And by the way, this is the first time I was targeted by the FBI. Under the Obama administration, the same thing happened to both Senator Grassley and I. As part of the Foreign Influence Task Force, we were giving a briefing to try and convince us that the Hunter Biden laptop was no big deal. Basically, trying to throw us off the track. So this is major corruption that's being revealed inside the Obama and Biden Department of Justice and the FBI. And I'll turn it over to, I guess, Senator Hagerty, who's one of the individuals. Again, none of us were subject to targets of this investigation. There's no predicate. There's no reason for this other than a fishing expedition, which, again, should outrage and shock every American. Senator Hagerty.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. And Chairman Grassley, thank you for your leadership in making this happen. This is an extraordinary revelation.